Hello everybody and welcome to the Moto Mill. Today we've got one of the coolest bikes CZ ever made, one of the coolest motocross bikes in all of history, the CZ 969 360. Paul Fredericks, he was a main racer on these. I think he'd win 2 world championships with these and then one more with the twin pipe. I think he went 66, 67, and 68. And there was a lot of controversy against that because, he was fighting from behind the Iron Curtain, basically, in these races. These are machines built in Czechoslovakia, and he basically stayed true to this manufacturer through his entire racing career. I think he started on SO and MZ, real early 60s. But that shows that this machine was of the highest pedigree. This one here is my personal Ahrma racer. I put it back to a pretty period correct state, but it's not entirely perfect, basically. Like, I did go with an expansion chamber on it. It's got a GF Morris concept pipe on it. That really helps bring these bikes alive. Originally, these bikes just had a stamped steel one that was chrome. Not that the machine made bad power with that pipe on it, but it makes really good power now with this pipe on it. I've used a few of these in the past. This personal 360, I've actually never fired it up quite yet, but over the past decade or so, I've probably owned almost a dozen 250s and a couple 360s. Every time I get a good one, it seems like somebody wants it from me, so I let it go. But this is the one that I'm up to now. I just got to finish a few things up on it still. It's got those original steel rims on it, a Barham front tire. Now the hubs are essentially magnesium. They're not truly magnesium. I forget what their compound is called for, but it's extremely lightweight. I've got the stator cover loose on it because I've actually want to adjust the timing and everything once I do fire this machine up. I got it all mocked up and I put some oil in it and it was still dripping a little out on the clutch side, so that's kind of where I stopped with it. I'll play with it again pretty soon to make some more videos of this machine getting up and going for you guys. You'll notice here we've got some really cool period correct foot pegs. Those are getting really tough to find. Originally, these pegs didn't fold at all on this machine. They were just kind of steel offerings. These are getting tough to get, I'm telling you. But they are cool. They do make it legal for Ahrma because, no one wants to race with people with straight foot pegs anymore. I think a lot of the old racers say they still have hurt ankles over it. I think Roger DeCoster himself has said that. In the rear here, I've got the same kind of hub that the front is. It's one of those really lightweight CZ hubs. But now you'll notice that this one actually has like studs and nuts for the sprocket instead of like the original style rivets that these kind of used. Now, I had a lot of those, but since I plan to use this machine and I'll probably have to change sprockets out from time to time, I held on to the one that was already set up as replaceable. Those other guys were using the side pipers as static displays, so I figured give them the really nice original hub. Not that this one's bad, it'll suit my needs absolutely perfectly. Got a period correct Trelleborg on the rear. We've got Coney rear shocks. Somebody painted the spring orange on it. I'll rebuild those before this bike sees too much action. Maybe even change them out, but I do like them with them being period correct. Foot peg on this side. Now on all the CZ models, they're pretty interesting where they have the shifter and the kickstarter basically on the same shaft. The kickstarter shaft's hollow and the shifter comes through it. Behind this cover is a dry clutch. Really unique for motocross. You don't see too many dry clutches. Mine right now, since it's got a bad oil seal, isn't so much of a dry clutch, and that's part of the thing that's got to get remedied. But CZs were so unique too, where you could take the top of the transmission off to inspect your gears. Obviously, you couldn't do much work to it from up there, so you'd still have to split the casings if you had real damage, but it was nice to at least be able to check and take that plate off from time to time. Now you'll notice that the side pipers here have a frame that's uniquely different from the later CZs, and that's one of the things that makes the side piper so special. If you've ever had two of the bare frames sitting next to each other, side piper's frame is just so significantly lighter than the later Faltas and red frames and taxi tanks, all of those. I've had a plethora of all of those. I had a really nice taxi tank 400 for a while. I do have plastic fenders on this machine. Originally they would have came as steel. You can see here that that's just a plastic replica. But like I said, I'll be doing some real riding with this machine, so the steel doesn't suit my purposes. Same thing on the front. It's got those original front fender mounts. They're a little goofy there, but cool and period correct. The CZ4s from the 60s were really high quality, some of the best. No real complaints with them. On the later generations, they would start to get a little spindly feeling by the time the long travels came around. Originally, these machines came with a different carb. I've got a Mikuni on them now. The original Jakov, a lot of people have complaints with it. I've had a few and I actually thought they're halfway decent carbs. It's just really hard to get any parts for them. This bike has the original handlebars on it with those original lever mounts. The gas tank on this machine is in absolutely pristine condition. Get you a closer look at it here. Big, beautiful gas cap from the factory. Made it easy to fuel these machines up. This one's got a Magura trapdoor throttle on it. Somebody put some Schrader valves here in the top of the forks. Still got to polish up these bars, but they're not too bad. This seat was a pretty cool seat. It was basically a new old stock seat, but I don't know, I guess somebody was cutting a box or something open on top of it with a box cutter and got those in it. I don't really mind too much. Once again, this is going to be a race bike for me, so it's a pretty perfect seat for my purposes. It's got the original air box that's fiberglass. It's kind of tough to see with it all being covered up here, but they're a neat feature that's getting tougher to find. You can see that. Now you'll also notice that I don't have the side pipe kickstarter on this. I've got one of the later model ones. If you're actually using the machine, this kicker actually gives you a heck of a lot more leverage. It makes it a lot nicer to operate. Big upgrade there. Still got the stock shifter on it. Originally, these bikes used 2 coils and it would run onto both of those plugs at the same time. I've even got the stock petcock on this. Beautiful aluminum triple trees from the factory. Serious Ahrma weapon here, guys. These bikes really kick butt. Only real competition for this machine back in the day, I think, was the Husqvarna Cross, which Ben Ahlberg would take it up against these the next year in 69 and 70 and do pretty darn good with those too. But otherwise, this is an absolutely elite machine. I can't wait to show you guys the fire up of this bike once I get her fixed up just a little bit here. Just subscribe and stay watching, and we'll make a lot of content with this machine. Thank you, everybody.